The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Pay Pettersson. Give this guy $13 million a year. Who cares? You cannot pay those guys enough. AKA, you cannot overpay for guys like Elias Pettersson. He had to do it on a night where Sidney Crosby was magnificent. The Canucks pick up an OT win. I know they blew a lead. It is what it is. Let's get into it on another episode of Locked On Canucks.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen, part of the Locked On Podcast Network and the Don't Doze Art Lab. Yo, this is not possible without that West Coast bias. It's not possible without the Don't Doze Art Lab. Your Vancouver Canucks continue to do the most, man. Are you serious? Doing the most, providing value every time you take the time to watch them play hockey. And that was something else. That was game 42. We're this deep into the season. I know. I'm using the word deep when it comes to game 42. We've had it rough for a very long time. And there we are, engaged and watching the best of the best do their thing. A lot of the best happen to be on your Vancouver Canucks, but there was also Sidney Crosby scoring 2 goals, being dominant in the second half of the game, as were the Pittsburgh Penguins, getting into Miller's face. More on that in a couple of minutes. All that was happening, and the guy at the end of the day who shined the brightest was Elias Pettersson. That's beautiful. Again, you cannot overpay for guys like Elias Pettersson. Just get it done. Make him feel good. And make him a Vancouver Canuck. Forever. Let's get to the comments. Japan, man. Is this Locked On Canucks? Is this possible without Japan? I don't think so, okay? A nice goal by Pettersson, but it shouldn't have gone to OT. Horrible second period. Look, after the Lotto line dominated in the first period, I felt as if the game shifted. Not early in the second period because the Canucks dominated once again. What's his name? Jari? The guy from Surrey? Hey, Surrey, man. Guilford, Fleetwood, Newton. Wally. Tristan was unbelievable. Kept his team in it. And then Filip Hronek made a questionable pinch while being up by 2. And he pinched against the wrong line. Gensel, highly skilled, makes a play over to Crosby. He does the rest on a 2-on-1. And Pittsburgh pretty much dominates from that moment. I think the Canucks had like 6 or 7 shots in the last 30 minutes of the game. It happens though, man. You're playing a pretty, I don't know if they're an elite team, but a lot of Hall of Famers on that team. Still playing at a high level. Those things are going to happen. Those things are going to happen on, what is this, game 5 of a 7-game road trip? It's going to tilt. And again, this all happened after the Lotto line in the first period put on another clinic. This is getting crazy. Did they have like 8 points in the first period? Brock Besser with 2 goals. JT Miller with 3 assists. Elias Pettersson, a goal and 2 assists, all in the first period. And I don't think they're stopping, man. Look, we've said it so many times, man. This team is different. This team's on a mission, and that line is definitely on a mission right now, okay? People like stacking up the points. Guys like that, they feed off that. And they're going to ride the wave the rest of the way on this road trip. Columbus and Buffalo better watch out. I'll say this too before we get back to the comments. I didn't mind Pittsburgh getting back in the game, okay? I'm not going to say I've been getting bored of what's been happening with the Canucks. It's only been like 3 games of dominance, but I kind of want to view something else, okay? 3-1 after the first. Again, there was a sign of a blowout in the horizon. But a game was made out of it, and that gave Thatcher Demko an opportunity to do something grand. It was nice to see, yes, once again, the Lotto line dominate, but it was also nice to see Demko make save after save after save when Pittsburgh was pressing, including a highway robbery save on Crosby. Again, that filled my heart. This team can win in so many ways. So many ways. And I was thinking about this. near the end of the game, okay? So, well, when these things happen, the Canucks are doing the most, and it's game 42, and we're all back. We're all feeling like we're ourselves once again. One may think, especially me, because I'm a little traumatized, that is this the peak? Are we peaking too early? And then I think to myself, we got Thatcher Demko. Let's say the Canucks do slow down. The players in front of Demko or DeSmith are just a little off. I think a guy like Demko buys a lot of time for a team to, yes, slump, but eventually climb back to the peak. That's how good Thatcher Demko is. So, yeah, seeing the Pittsburgh Penguins do their thing in the last 30 minutes of the game, some may look at it as a complete negative. It's the way the season goes. And there was Demko doing the most. Up until the last 20 seconds of the third period, the Canucks had this in regulation. Canucks are now what? 28, 11, and 3. 26 of those wins in regulation. The one tonight in OT. Let's get back to the comments before we talk about that Pettersson goal. Man, oh man. How about this? Tyler, man, break up the Lotto line until PD signs. Why? So we can save money? Is that the theory? Yo, I say this all the time, and I'm going to say it again. Where's the cash button, okay? Can we play that? You should be praying that the best players on your team are getting paid the most. It's just the truth, because if they're getting paid the most, that means they're doing the most. They're excelling. And when guys like Pettersson, again, do the most, it's top tier. They're like in the 0.1%. Elias Pettersson back on a tear. Elias Pettersson probably going to finish the season with 115 points. Hey, maybe this guy will get to 50 goals. And he happens to be good everywhere. I also saw this guy penalty kill a lot with Ilya Mikheyev. And maybe that turns into something. Okay, you cannot pay guys like that enough. I'm down with the Lotto line. Is anyone talking about the second line center? Is that needed? How about this comment? JS, Miller getting Crosby riled up. Got the Pens going again. I don't know about that, man. I think they were already going. And there was that moment in the neutral zone. I don't know if it was Miller who took down Letang or Letang who took down Miller, vice versa. Probably happened based on what happened between Crosby and Miller. But I think 10 seconds after that collision, Brock Besser hits the crossbar. You know what I'm saying? If that goal goes in, Miller getting under the skin of Crosby is a big reason for it. And again, it's game 42. We're back, right? We're in front of our TV screens, glued into the Vancouver Canucks. All these games matter. And it was so new and refreshing. Even though I'm 30 and a half years old, I'm old. I've watched hockey for a long time. I've seen things like this before, but there I was looking at JT Miller and Sidney Crosby hating each other, chirping each other. That's a scene. Again, that felt new. That felt refreshing. That also felt like playoff hockey. I'd like to see it. I'm an old school guy, right? 30 and a half years old. And get this, okay? Yesterday, I'm chilling with my girlfriend, and she comes to hug me from behind. And the first thing that she says is, yo, you got a bald spot on the top of your head. Again, 30 and a half years old. I'm an old school guy. I don't mind Miller going after Crosby again. That might have riled him up. But we won the game. Japan, man. Give Petey 12.5 if he signs for 8 years. I'm down for that, man. I am down for that. We got Zachary Kyle with the LFG. Pay Petey. Hey, speaking of Zachary Kyle, man, go check out this guy's music, man. This guy's Beethoven. Last comment before we get to break, and before I get to drinking some water. We'll be back with more questions. Stick around, okay? Let's just answer some questions, okay? The Canucks, the best team in hockey. We got to June saying, what a play by Hronek to Petey, G's for the win. Hronek, man, again, a big reason why Pittsburgh got back in this game is because Hronek made a horrible pitch. He was getting aggressive, okay? Not keeping it simple. It is what it is. It's what you get with Filip Hronek, and that's why he's also doing so well. I also thought he struggled in the third period. And then even in overtime, I feel as if he was like the fourth D-man on the ice. I think it went like Hughes, Myers, Hughes, Hronek. So Myers played before Hronek in overtime. I think Tocchet saw something in Hronek's game that he didn't like in the bottom half. That being said, he gets the last shift in overtime. Felt like a long shift, and there he is, passing the puck to Petey. And Petey, we're talking more about Petey, man, because that made me feel good. 4 points in front of Crosby. And that, we were saying this earlier, man. I don't know if y'all new to the show, but we were saying this earlier today. Well, where's that thumbnail? There it is, man. Crosby, Rutherford, Alvin, Tocchet, and company, and a lot of other Pittsburgh Penguins here. Crosby, 1 year left after this season. What if Pittsburgh sucks? What if Vancouver's cool? Will Crosby come back home to Vancouver? We dropped this episode earlier today. Maybe check it out after this stream. I'm going to run a couple ads, and I'll be back, yo. I'm going to drink some water. Let's answer some questions. How you guys feeling? What's that Pettersson contract looking like after tonight? What's it looking like after tonight? Anywho, you're watching, listening to Locked On Canucks.
It's the halfway point of the NHL season, and Canucks fans, you gotta love what you're seeing from your team right now. With the Canucks, for one of the best teams in the NHL, make sure that you start winning as well by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is my number one choice for daily fantasy sports, and especially daily fantasy hockey. Because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. All you have to do is pick whether studs like Elias Pettersson, JT Miller, or Sidney Crosby will record more or less than their sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus minus, and more in a given game. To win a 100 times bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me, Canucks fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability. I know we come to sports to escape from some of the crazy realities of real life, but can we just talk for a minute about preparing for real life? According to the FDA, pharmacies are running out of antibiotics like amoxicillin right in the middle of the worst flu season in over a decade. This is scary. I can't imagine a more helpless feeling than if Kyle or anyone else I love got sick while a supply chain issue kept them from the life-saving medication they needed. Or, hey, the boner pills, too. Those are important. And thankfully, you can get those all through Jase Medical.
We need those. We keep talking about Sidney Crosby being 38. Some people are like, oh, he's old. He can't do it anymore. I don't like that comment. Again, I'm 30 and a half years old. The boner pills, that's something that I may need, and I don't want people to laugh at that. I just want them to let it be, okay? Because I deserve to make love, too.
You do deserve to make love, too, Kyle. And Jase Medical, they can help you with that. They got antibiotics and all that good stuff. But with Jase Medical, what they love to promote is the Jase case, okay? With the Jase case, you can get a pack of 5 different antibiotics to treat a long list of bacterial illnesses, including UTIs, respiratory infections, sinusitis, skin infections, among others. This stuff could happen to any of us. It can even happen to you. Visit jasemedical.com and complete your physician encounter. It will be reviewed by a board-certified physician, and your medications will be dispensed by a licensed pharmacy at a fraction of the regular cost. It's never been more important to be prepared than today. Go to jasemedical.com and use offer code LOCKEDON to get $20 off your first order.
We back on Locked On Canucks. We doing it, man. Doing the most, having the greatest times of our lives right now, living our lives being Vancouver Canucks fans, and I don't give a F what anyone says. We deserve this. We deserve this, man. Can we get a round of applause? We deserve this. Pettersson, man. We deserve Pettersson for a very long time. We don't deserve the stress in the summer. Again, pay Pettersson. Why not give him $100 million? Is he not one of the best 5 players in hockey when he's on? That's just the truth, man. Let's get to the comments, okay? How about this one, man? Red Risotto. I almost cried tonight. Damn, Canucks better be getting him signed before he... Okay, I guess what he's trying to say is... Again, I just started reading 5 years ago. It's tough for me, okay? I guess what he's trying to say is, yo, Pettersson was so excellent tonight that I just realized that there's a 8% chance that we may lose him. And that is making me cry. How about Lefty? How about this comment? Anyone have a JT Miller jersey on sale? Pay full price, man. Look, straight up, pay full price for JT Miller. He is worth that $8 million a year. In fact, he's probably worth $9 million. JT Miller, what a player. 3 assists in this game. How many points does this guy have in the season? And I'll also say this. It's a bold thing to say, but you know what's going to happen in April, in May, in June. It's going to make a lot of sense, okay, what I'm saying right now. That dude is the face of the franchise. A, because he's great. I know Quinn Hughes and Pettersson are here, but listen to this. A, because he's great. And B, look at his face. Look at his face, man. That says it all. That says hockey. And this is feeling like hockey again, okay? I remember back in the day, we playing the draft simulator at this time, okay? We thinking about our prospects. Snooze fest. The most boring-ish ever is talking about next year, you know? Talking about who's coming in, who's in the pipeline. That's lame. Elston, man, Lotto line was scary good tonight. Again, let me know in the comments, when do you pull the trigger on bringing in a second-line center? Because playing this card, the Lotto line, for me was an experiment, okay? Something that you do once in a while, but in the long term, you put Miller back down the middle, and once in a while, like Edmonton does with McDavid and Draisaitl, you pull the trigger, you put your stars together, and you shift the game. But the more and more I watch them play, well, why let it be an experiment partially, okay? Why not shift the game in and game out? Unreal. And from the jump, right when they got put together, there was no warm-up. We barely saw them on 5-on-5 at any part in the year. They maybe took 1 or 2 shifts together. Yeah, they had that stint 4 years ago. But it's pretty surreal to see them do this quickly after being put back together. The Lotto line, man. Yo, everyone, man, buy a lottery ticket. Buy a lottery ticket again. If I win the lottery, I'm going back to Colombia, man. Has anyone been to Colombia? The goal of this show is to make the Vancouver Canucks Colombia's team. How about this comment, man? Tyler, man. Miller is what Kessler was supposed to be. Whoa. Whoa. Hey, JT Miller's been elite way longer than Ryan Kessler. That being said, Ryan Kessler, he won a playoff series by himself. Do I think JT Miller can do that? Of course. Hence why I am not disappointed at all that this guy got into Crosby's face. He even took a dumb penalty. I'm not mad at that. This guy's on one. He's intense. And you know, early on in the season, I think there was a 20-game stretch for JT Miller, putting up all those points, but it seriously felt like he never took a shift off. And then it got, quote-unquote, kind of boring for him in the next, 10 to 12 games, whatever that means. The standard is so high. But he seems to be back into top-notch form, a.k.a. form that is way above his pay grade. Remember, it wasn't that long ago, people. People wanted Miller gone for a first-round pick, a B-plus prospect, and a lot of assumption. Is JT Miller still first all-time in points per game as a Vancouver Canuck? Yo, when it's all said and done, in 10 years from now, 15 years from now, are the 3 best players in Canucks history Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson, and JT Miller? Maybe, right? Because this is the core that gets the job done. It brings the Stanley Cup, quote-unquote, home. And if that's the case, the legacy is forever. And if this guy has the points to back it up too, which he does to this point, right? Again, I think he's number 1 in points per game for the Vancouver Canucks. Could be wrong. That may be Pavel Bure, okay? But this guy's turning into a legend, man. And moments like that today, again, him being one-on-one with Sidney Crosby, swearing, probably saying something mean, I don't know. Moments like that are going to be played in that montage while his number gets raised to the rafters. Holy moly, dude. Stanley Cup and JT Miller's getting his number retired. That's a beautiful thing, man. That's a beautiful thing. Let's go to another comment. Lefty, PD was exhausted, but still scored the winner. Again, the guy's a baller. The guy's a baller. A gangster. Been that way since day one. Never in doubt. Again, pay Pettersson. Again, y'all should be praying that he gets paid the most. Because if he's getting paid the most, he's doing the most. And when Pettersson is doing the most, ain't nobody like him. Callum with the comment Banza. Callum, you got to switch your name to Callum Sandu. Remember, bro. And this wagon is a train, bro. The Vancouver Canucks doing the most. I guess that's all I have for you today. Well, one love to the people. The Vancouver Canucks defeat the Pittsburgh Penguins 4-3. For me, I don't know, like one of the games of the year. I know the Canucks kind of took the last 30 minutes off, but what we do. Elias Pettersson, man, my guy. Subscribe, hit the like button. We'll do more of these if the time's out right. You know, what the Don't Doze Art Lab. KGB on the verge of producing his biggest hit ever. One love to the guy. He's away from the studio. It's buying me some more quiet time to produce this show late at night. So if that continues to happen, I'll be here more and more. And maybe in the playoffs, maybe in early April, we'll start doing it every time after a Vancouver Canuck game. Got to do it for the people, man. The people, A, they deserve this, and B, you guys are feeding the West Coast bias. And this studio and Trevor and my relationship is built off that West Coast bias. So this is not possible without you and you and you and you and you and you. Again, go check out Zachary Kyle's music, okay? He commented in the live chat. He is a very talented individual. Let's spread the love. Have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good night. I don't know when you're watching this or listening to this, but hey, I'll see you tomorrow. Go Canucks, go.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team